Hey guys, I think we're live now. Just let us know if you can hear us okay. So if there are any adjustments that we have to make, we can do that before we get too much into it.
Cool.
I'll keep an eye on your comments to make sure that I can see it properly.
It's 1 o'clock.
That's fine. It's 1 o'clock.
It is 1 o'clock.
I'll turn that down. Cool. So 9 people on. Okay, cool. Cool.
Just gonna wait a couple of minutes for you guys to join in properly. And also make sure that you can, okay, cool. Josephine can hear us. That's a good sign.
Yes.
Cool.
Hear well.
I think people are joining well. Joining now. So we just get started slowly and gradually as other people join in. So essentially in this webinar, we're going to cover a few points which have been raised from the articles that were on your dashboards about pricing, and also a couple of issues regarding promotions and opting in and how that affects artists and what are your options and what it actually means. So I'll just go into a bit of detail. We do have articles on that, and also on our terms and conditions page. It's quite clearly laid out what that means and how that works, but I'll just go into it in detail anyway. Then we also do have some exciting news that Sarah will bring to you about some really cool collaborations, which she's an influencer.
I'm an influencer.
She's an influencer now. And also some exciting news about our new artist profiles and also dashboards. So we've made progress on dashboards, and I'll give you a bit of information on that as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe we should, because I know some people getting dashboards and profiles confused.
Yeah.
So profile, the changes that you've seen is the visual layout. So that happened Tuesday last week. Dashboard is your dashboard that shows the stats. Before we jump into anything about that, which will be later, but we'll talk about it again.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So profile is the public profile that everyone can see. That has already had the change last week, so it's been changed now. Dashboard is what you see as an artist with the data of your views and your favorites and your sales and all that kind of stuff. So those are two different things. So profile is already live, and dashboard it will be live for everyone quite soon. I'll give you more information on that towards the end of this. Cool. I'll jump straight in and start with the pricing pricing discussion. And it's a bit of a sensitive one because, everyone comes from a very different background and has quite different point of views towards it and how things work. And when we talk about it, we try to see it from a bigger point of view, so like a bigger picture, and not talk about one individual or how one person does it and that's right and wrong. We sort of try to look at it from an industry point of view because we are a leading platform online for these kind of things. So it really affects a lot of things in a ripple effect when something small changes or how things are going. So rather than like a tone of it is quite important as well. So most of the times, we have to put these things in writing before we can talk about it. But we do talk about it just so that it's not a matter of this is it, you have to follow it that way. We try to always make it a conversation, make sure that it's conveyed in a clear way, rather than just, sort of like pushing it out there. So I'll just address the article that was on your dashboards, which has a few points about how to price your artwork and a few things on what you should consider when you're pricing an artwork, and also about pricing uniformity across platforms, and not just on Bluethumb, but on all other online platforms where you are selling your artworks. And what that means is, to be clear on that, is, say, for example, you have an artwork called XYZ, and it's listed on your website at $500. It doesn't matter if it has shipping included. It doesn't matter if it has any commission. It doesn't matter any of the facts. a person sees that on your website for $500. That piece is listed on three, for example, that piece is listed on 3 other platforms with different pricing. So that's what we refer to as non-uniform pricing. So if I am looking to purchase that artwork, it doesn't matter where I found you or where I found that artwork. I will always try and hunt down where it is listed for the lowest price. And that's what we call uniform pricing. Non-uniform pricing. So what we ask is for you to keep your artworks at a uniform price. So if you're listing that artwork on Bluethumb, say for example, $700, we ask you to list it on all other platforms at the same price as well. If you're listing at that particular piece on a different platform for a higher price, we would just we're not even asking you to do it to list it for a lower price on Bluethumb. We're asking you to keep it the same. So it's sort of like it avoids a lot of different small confusions and small negotiations and requests, and it just closes that gap. Now, I'll go into a few points on why we ask that and why it's important. And there are a few different aspects of it. So I'll just go into it in a few points that I've written down. Once we've gone through the whole thing, then obviously we're here to sort of clarify and answer questions that come from it. So the first and the foremost on what is included in Bluethumb's pricing is A, the commission, obviously, and B, shipping costs. So now, why we do that? We do get that question quite a lot. Why we include shipping and not do that at checkout rather. Now, free shipping model, it's not about free shipping. Rather, it's about the psyche of showing the buyer or showing the client a price at the very first instance of when they see a particular product. So I see the artwork XYZ listed at $700. And from that point, I know that this is what its price is. If I buy it, this is how much I'll have to pay. Now, with the pricing models, which do not have pricing included or shipping price included, and they add it on the checkout, so on the actual purchase page, what that does is the XYZ artwork is listed at 700, and then I go to checkout once I've spent 20 minutes finding that, and this is the perfect piece, and this is my budget, because I have all these things in my mind when I'm searching for an artwork. I have a budget, I have the size, I have everything in front of me. So I look and find a perfect artwork that fits all of those criteria, and then I go to purchase page, and then $50 shipping is added. Now, maybe to some people it wouldn't matter, but from what the research shows and from what the articles like, if you just Google it, try to find articles about conversion rate or checkout processes and what makes or breaks a transaction. When I searched everything, and with that budget of 700, and I found an artwork, and I go to checkout, and the pricing, shipping price is added on top of it. It sort of affects the whole equilibrium of the whole process that I had. Now my budget is not 750, so I'll have to go back and search for an artwork which is for 650, and that fits all the criteria, and also finally 700 comes with shipping. So we try to avoid that. That is one major factor of increasing conversion rate, of making it easy. Like when someone is on the journey of finding an artwork and buying it online, that is one hurdle that we sort of take away from them. So that's one major important point. And you'll notice that a lot of online platforms do that. It's not something that we invented. It's something that has worked really well. Like I was saying, read articles about how to increase conversion rates online. Conversion rate is a pretty common phrase in terms of online marketing and sales and all that kind of stuff. So you'll see a lot of written article and material about this. Sorry. So also the question, so this is why we do this. Now, the question that comes and that occurs quite often when we talk about price uniformity, and it's completely fair, is if I'm selling directly from my website, why should I put these prices at a certain price which is higher or include someone's commission? And it's completely understandable. Now, I'll approach this in a few different, from a few different directions. A, is a few points that some of the artists have already raised on the Facebook group. So if you guys are not on the Facebook group, just ask anyone on here and we'll try to send you the link. So I won't go too much into detail, but essentially uniformity of having one artwork and one price everywhere, it just eliminates a lot of different factors which might cause time issues, or if you're entering something in an exhibition or it is in a different gallery, and how people value your artwork over time. If the same artwork is listed at different prices on different platforms, it just involves a lot of variables that causes a lot of confusion. Also, the other point is, and why we really need to ask you this, is that a lot of the times people come online, browse, and find artwork, and then they contact artists directly. And this is not just us. Like, this happens. This is an industry thing. It happens. It's normal. I mean, we would want to do that. We're not sort of saying that it's the wrong thing to do. It happens. But what happens is, a lot of the times, people honestly don't remember where they have actually found the artist or the artwork that they wanted, and when they're talking to them, and it just doesn't come up. So they might have just found you through personal contacts, and that's fine. But if they found you through the work of a third party, of an agent or your partner, like Bluethumb is, it is important for you to ask where you found them. I'm not saying like it happens to us, and it happens to us where people come to me or us like online and say, I saw this artist in this local gallery, and because they didn't have an online checkout system, they come to us, and we do tell the artist and we do send them back. It's just an honest system that we stick to. It's something that it doesn't directly help our sales. We would obviously want to get that sale, but we do that. We do ask people, or like if they bring that up, and we ask the same thing from our artists as well. If and when you're talking to people, not just for us, but for any other platform, ask them where they found you. If they found you directly through your website, fantastic, that's great. But if they found you through a third-party website, try to not send them back, but try to give the credit where it's due, so that it's not just about that particular sale. You might make a few extra dollars on that particular sale, but trust me that the platform finds it becomes visible that that's happened. And then that sort of like closes the whole relationship that might be in front of you from that point on. Anyway, that's one point. The other thing that it affects is the platforms like Bluethumb as well. And I think we've mentioned this in terms of how our marketing works. We measure the success of our marketing tools and our marketing campaigns based on sales. So say, for example, we're running a particular kind of ad or an algo that sort of targets a certain kind of people for a certain type of art. And they've come through that, gone through the whole channel, came to our site, found things, and then the sale happened outside of Bluethumb. That's fine. Maybe we didn't find out about it. Maybe we did. If we didn't find out about it, in our eyes, in our marketing system's eyes, that campaign was a failure. So that will be stopped. There will be no more effort or money will go behind it anymore. If it had made that sale, if that sale had gone through us and we would have noted that, that campaign will keep running, and we'll make more campaigns like that because that's working. So that is a huge factor. Now, why this is important? It's not important just because we want that commission. Yes, we do want that commission, but that's not the main part. The main part is how that web of marketing campaigns and those algorithms that work, it sort of spreads out. It's really complicated. We put one idea out, and if it works, we put 10 more ideas out which are similar to this. And then out of those 10, maybe 5 will work and 5 won't. Then the 5 that work, we'll put out more specific, 10 each for them out. And then this is how that sort of web works, and this is how it keeps bringing people in. But if some of them are working, but we are not noting them, we will cut them, and it just doesn't help in terms of growing the market and reaching the right kind of people. So that's from the marketing point of view of why that's important. And why pricing is important is because everyone and that includes everyone, when they found the right piece, they would, at the end, just before paying, hunt around and try to find the minimum that they can pay for this. A lot of people ask us for discounts when they're just purchasing it. And sometimes we just say no. Sometimes we talk to the artist, and it goes that way. But that's how the human mind works. That's why that uniform pricing is important, so that the right channel is rewarded for its success and not the other way. And why this is quite significant. A lot of you would be, this sort of recently has surfaced. A lot of you would be on Art Finder as well, and you would have, seen their communication, and they've shared a lot of sort of inside inside data and stuff with their artists, and it's quite incredible. And that's we empathize with them. We do compete against each other, but also we are in the same industry. So sort of fairness and that sort of industry support is quite important. So it's important why last year why they struggled, like all those kind of things is important. And that's why these things happen. These small things sort of lead to bigger things, and then it leads to a pattern, and it makes a habit, and that's what we try to contain. Sorry, I'm just going to read my points. Yeah, this is another thing that was raised on the group, and I just wanted to sort of reiterate that is having the same, and I will use the word product because it is a business and you're in an industry. So, when you are looking at pricing something, you are potentially making it a product. And why it's important to have that one product at the same price, no matter where you're selling it, is when you actually go to the ground level, it involves value evaluation of art. So, for example, you've painted a piece now in 2018, and it was priced at 3 different prices on 3 different platforms. Someone who's bought it, for them, it's important how much that is valued at. So, they would obviously prefer it to be valued at a higher price, not a lower price. And that's why this uniform pricing really helps to sort of keep that in line. When you're entering it into a prize, or when you're entering it into some sort of art competition or anything, value of the artwork is really important, and it is a decisive factor as well. So it is really important to sort of keep that uniform. And on a minor sort of competition level, having uniform prices does get rid of price-based competition. And by that, I mean, it is mostly an industry thing, and it depends on the sort of ethics of the practices of a business, and how they approach it, how you try to get clients, or how you try to get customers or collectors to come to your site, or to be your customers. We are constantly moving into the collectible, not just the collectible, but we sort of like going towards no discount sales kind of a thing, and it really, it is important for us for it not to be a discount market on Bluethumb. Anyway, so like uniform pricing sort of gets rid of that, come to us, it's cheaper sort of a point of view of things. Also, price match. That was mentioned in the article, and I wanted to bring it up because, and I really want to say this because I read the post on Facebook, and what's really important is the tone of how Bluethumb communicates anything with the artist. Reading that article, I understand that it might seem like quite dictatorshipy, saying, do this or this will happen. It doesn't work that way. We don't work that way. If we've noticed anything with anyone, we always talk to them. We tell them what it is, why it is, what we expect, and try to come to a solution. And trust us that the same solution doesn't work for every artist. everyone sort of works, like it is all a matter of resolution rather than sticking to one, particular format or like terms and conditions and stuff. So when it comes to price match, see, the idea behind that is quite simple, is that if we have a collector who's been buying on Bluethumb for a while, likes an artwork or an artist, and comes to us and tells us, hey, I've bought from you before, your service is great, blah, blah, blah. I do want this, but I do see that this is listed on here for $200 less. Now that puts us in a very difficult situation, and at no point will we say, "Oh, fine, here's a $200 discount coupon and you can use it." We won't do that. We don't do that. We'll talk to you. We'll tell you what's happened, and then we go from there. It's a similar thing. It's a simple thing, sorry, that to put it in words, but it sometimes is not conveyed with the same emotional meaning. So it's important for us to talk about it, frankly, about it as well. Yeah, so that's about pricing. And I'm sure you guys will have a lot of questions about this, and we're here to answer them. Also, we want to discuss a few points about promotions and, opting into promotions, what that means, why do it, why uncheck it, your decision. And I'd like to do it now before the questions come in, and then we can answer questions about both of them together. So I'll just get straight into it. And I'll just go through some really quick points, because this concept is not new, but just, it comes from point to point. Usually 99% of the times, there's a lack of communication, either from us or from someone else, but it's important to address it. Discounts are always shared between us and the artist. So artists do not absorb that in full, ever. That doesn't happen. There have been cases where we've absorbed the full discount, and you guys don't know about it, but it doesn't happen the other way, ever. If you read the terms and conditions, it says between 10 to 20% or up to 20% of something of that sort. But if there is any discount, that is, if a buyer has a discount of more than 15%, they never use it directly. We talk to you first. And make sure that you're happy with it. Things go. A lot of you will know, you've had that conversation with me where someone comes with an offer and say, I want this $1,000 piece for $500, what you can do for me. And then, we would talk about it. On Bluethumb, always, the decision is with the artist. If you say, I don't want this sale, I don't want to go through with it at this price, it doesn't go through. Recently, a couple of cases have happened because of the sales period that we had in January. Some of our previous collectors had certain coupons, and they were applicable on a certain group of artworks. And a couple of cases where they wanted a piece which was not in that collection. So they went through with it, but when
just maybe went through as in they committed to the sale without telling us about it.
Without talking to us about it.
Yeah.
In those cases, what's happened is we've gotten in touch with the artists and we've talked to them. We've told them what the situation is. And if we only go ahead if the artist has said, all right, fine, let's go with it. If they've said no, and it has happened, there is a case where it has happened where the artist has said, no, sorry, I can't do this at this price, and it's fair enough. It's your call, and we've canceled that sale. So I wanted to put it out there that it's not, we don't make that call for you. If you haven't opted in beforehand and stuff like that, we always talk about it. Now, I just want to quickly get into what opting in and out of promotions mean. Now, that small tick, it includes your artworks and your profile into which and engagement and all those things. It includes your profiles in that. It is fed into how these things work. So it's not a manual thing. We don't do things like that. So basically, in short, what it takes you out of if you opt out into that from those promotions is that you won't be included into any of DPAs, that is dynamic product ads, which they usually go on Facebook and Instagram. So your profiles, your artworks won't be included in that.
Which is the retargeting ads that we talk about.
So yeah, and retargeting. So they're two different things. So DPAs is something like, we say if they've seen one particular artwork, then we say you might also like this, and they will see like a bunch of artworks similar from different artists. So if you opted out of promotions, you're not included in that. You're not included in retargeting ads where someone visits your profile, sees an artwork, and then if they've come from Facebook, they will see your works on Facebook, and they will see your works pretty much everywhere they go through our retargeting ads. They will like promotions also means that you'll be included into our Facebook page promotions, our Instagram stories, blogs, and all the things that we do on the homepage, which is featured artists, staff pics, homepage, and all the kind of socials. So all these things is what that promotions means. That also means that in case the buyers or someone has a discount code, that will be shared between you and us. If you're not opted in and someone has that discount code, it won't apply. So that sale won't go through. We will tell them that particular code cannot be used for this particular artwork, and then they'll have to find a different one. So anyway, it's important to understand what that means. And if it's easier from your profile, like where you have to uncheck it, there should be a link that takes you to read more about those opting in and opting out. So I would strongly suggest to read about it and see what that means and do what suits best for you. Recently, there was a post. There were a couple of posts on Facebook group, and these came on, and a lot of it is accurate. A lot of it is it might not make sense in the bigger picture scenario, and that's why we wanted to sort of address it. Cool. So do you want to go through the May people and stuff right now and then answer questions, or later?
I think later. It might be nice to finish on a,
Cool. All right. That's the end of my rant. So
if there's questions, just get them in now.
I think we have a couple of questions already.
Okay,
I'll try and read them loud and clear before I answer them. So Susan says, group mentioned the 20% discount on promoted art taken out of artist payments, which is not well known and can be a nasty surprise. Needs to be more clear so we can make adjustments, please. Susan, as I mentioned, the 20% discount, I don't think it has ever happened that someone has gone through with a purchase where we haven't been in touch with the artist beforehand and the artist didn't know about it. Also with the discounts, again, like when someone comes, if it's a small amount, if it's, some of our trade clients have 10 and 15% discount codes. If that's an amount and you're opted into promotions, those things apply to your artworks and those sales. But if it's more than 15% and you're not opted in or anything of that sort, and even in like 90% of the cases, even if it is more than 10%, we always get in touch with you. And a lot of you will know about this, that we've talked to you one-on-one in terms of pricing and offers. So we know and we understand that getting a surprise of lower price, lower discount on your artwork is not good, and we don't want that to happen. We would never want that to happen. That's why we try and make sure that you know that beforehand, and you always have the decision, final say to say, no, this is not acceptable. I don't want to go through with this, and that is absolutely fine to say. And we will not go ahead. We won't force a particular sale on you without your consent on that. Anyway, I'm going to see if there are more questions. There's a compliment from Philip. I will read that out. Bluethumb's marketing tools are incredible, beyond compare in the art world. Thank you, Philip. Thank you. That is something that's come with time.
I think it might also be good to mention, I know it was a bit back when Shiraz was talking about the marketing and, the money that we spend on marketing. And if that sale isn't like comes through Bluethumb but isn't put back, it also affects other artists. So I think it might just be good to mention that in the long run, accepting that could affect other artists down the track, and it affects the marketplace in general. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah. Also, just we do talk to quite a lot of artists about how to price their artwork. We answer that only when we asked. How to price their artworks on their personal websites and which sort of model is better in terms of shipping. And we always say that having an included or a free shipping model is easier because it takes a variable out of the pricing factor, where people say, oh, I'm local, or I can pick up, or like it's a small piece, and can the shipping be taken off, or like can I get a discount because of this or because of that? So it sort of takes that variable out, and all those conversations are avoided. And also, as I was saying, that a no surprise or no additional change to the pricing throughout the process is a really good conversion factor for the buyers. So that model it really works, and you will see that pretty much all the major, not just art, like all the major platforms do use that sort of a model, and it works that way quite well. Cool. Either my explanation was really good and you guys don't have questions, or there's some sort of technical issue.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not very many.
That's cool. We'll wait for the questions. Maybe talk about
marry people.
Yeah, the other couple of things.
Cool. So we are currently running a, I guess it's an influencer campaign, but not really, because we're not influencers even. Anyway, it's with a brand called Merry People, and it's like a gumboot brand, and they've just released their Bobby Blue boot. And so that's why we're doing a promotion with them. So any of their customers that buy or pre-order boots before the 1st of March of this year go into the draw to win a $500 Bluethumb voucher. And then we're doing the opposite. So if anyone purchases an artwork between now and the 1st of March, they go into the draw to win a $500 Merry People voucher to buy gumboots. And they're not just gumboots, they've also got waterproof trench coats and kids gumboots, that matching kids gumboots. They're really cute. And then it's $500, so you should be able to buy like almost 3 pairs of boots with that, or more. I think they range in price, but so yeah, if you're all more than welcome to use and share this on your socials. So what you would essentially be saying is, if you purchase one of my artworks through Bluethumb, you go into the draw to win a $500 Merry People voucher. If you want to put it on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, you're more than welcome to. We're going to have more information in the artist newsletter that goes out. Oh, no, sorry, just the normal newsletter that goes out today. So that will break it down for you all, and hopefully you'll understand a bit better. But if you're not 100% sure, just email in and I can just do a simple copy and paste so you've got it in writing. So we'll be doing some promotions through Instagram and Facebook over the next couple of days. It was really, really fun. I got to do a little photo shoot with the new blue boots, so you might be seeing my face a little bit more. Sorry. But I was actually a Merry People customer well before we did this promotion, and that's kind of where this came from. So, and I can highly recommend the boots. They're awesome and great for Melbourne weather, and I have very dry feet. So yeah, if you wanted to get on that and promote it, up to you. Or even if someone has reached out to you and said, oh, I've just purchased one of your paintings, let them know that they're in a draw to win a voucher, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, okay, cool. We do have a couple of questions.
Great.
Philip, really good point, and Freddie asked me to point this out, and I forgot, sorry.
Yeah.
So the reduced price that...
Maybe you should read the question.
Oh, sorry, yes.
I got to remind him because you all were telling us off last week.
So the question from Philip is, I reduced the price of one of my paintings last week. A friend phoned me the next day to say he saw a Bluethumb advert of my painting saying in bold letters, 30% reduction in price. Is that right? This did happen for a little while. And this is an ad algorithm that's run by Google directly. And no one was consulted on this. And it's happened in the past once. And one of our artists informed us and we made it stop. The other main thing about this is that this is something that Google does on its own. So Freddie and the marketing team did really well to talk to them and make them stop doing this, because they don't usually listen to small companies like us when it comes to this, because this is something that runs from there. And when we do market on Google, like there's certain templates that are used automatically on products, and because the feeds are live, by feed I mean the information that is fed from our system to the Google system is live. So if something changes, they know that change. And this is one of the templates where they do price reduction, which we are absolutely against. And we didn't even know this was happening until you guys told us, and we made it stop. So if you should not see this now at all, even if you do, it might go away in 1 or 2 days if it's just sort of like a residual thing. This took us by surprise, and it was quite annoying when we found out, because the first time someone told us, and we're like, nah, we don't do that. Like, that is not something we do at all. And then when we actually saw what was happening, we took it to our marketing agency. And from them, we found out that this is something that Google has sort of taken on itself to do.
Yeah. And Freddie wanted us to reiterate that we're a small company, and it's a huge deal that we told Google off and they listened, and they're not doing it anymore. Yeah,
Bluethumb made some waves.
We made waves.
Susan saying, one artist on the group page said her payment of $80.90 was reduced by half, and I don't think she was spoken to, unfortunately. Susan, Sarah had spoken with that artist. We won't take names. It's not something we'd like to do. And the numbers, again, because it's a very abstract way of looking at it, it might sound quite abrupt, but it's not. Like it's been discussed with the artist directly, and the calls were made from the artists, and without those calls, like without their permission, I would say that wouldn't have gone through. Lee is saying, I noticed that Instagram links, etc., are no longer visible on artist profiles. Yeah. Yes, they're not. This is something that we're testing out to see if it helps with conversion. Try to stop people from jumping off the website. It is in a testing mode now, and we'll assess on the results probably by the end of February, and we'll make a decision if those things are coming back or it will stay the same. That decision will be made based on the numbers that we get by the end of February.
End of the month. Next month.
End of next month.
Yeah.
Beryl saying, I've read quite a few instances regarding courier problems. Do you have your own preferred couriers for shipping? Beryl, when it comes to couriers, that's the most
weakest link.
Yeah, difficult part of this whole process. But as time has gone on, things have improved quite a lot. The preference of couriers, it doesn't really work from the bigger picture point of view. It really matters on who's on the ground. So most of the couriers and all the deliveries and the pickups, they go quite smoothly, but sometimes there are issues. Yeah. We have stopped using smaller couriers. Well, not entirely, but as far as we possibly can, we have stopped using Fastway. We've minimized using Couriers Place. We use TNT's Express and Business Services, and we use DHL. We do not use Australia Post because of a few different factors. When it comes to factors like insurance and factors like leaving it in the post office and all that kind of stuff. But we don't have one preferred courier because it really depends on where they're picking up from and where they're delivering to. So those two factors really matter quite a lot.
Which is maybe, if anyone doesn't know, our team, our logistics team book all the couriers and they do a judgment call with which ones to do. So it's not something that's automatic. We don't just go through one company. We decide what's the best option for the buyer. And sometimes they might even request a courier company and we'll use that, even though it leaves us out of pocket. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, we've had the options of automating a lot of things where all the orders just go directly to a courier company and they can deal with all the things, but we don't want to do that just because of that, because a lot of our artists request a particular courier company, and you can do that as well. If, for example, TNT works better in your area, or for example, Couriers Please works better in your area, you can tell us to only use them, and we'll do that. As long, what matters is that the service is good. Anyway, that's why we keep it really manual.
And that's why we won an award recently for best
customer service.
Best of customer service. And that was
old Sarah.
Not me. It was not me. I might have had like a small part to play, but it wasn't me.
Okay. Josephine has a question about sold artworks that are seen on the website. Are these all BT sales?
Okay. Two different. So the just sold page is like a live feed of all the artworks that have just sold on Bluethumb. And then on your profile, there's artworks and sold artworks. The sold artworks, it's a combination. So if you decide to upload something and you sold it, a year back, and you're just making your profile, if you select its availability as sold, it will show up in that section. Or if you sell an item on Bluethumb, it will also show up in that sold section. Just because this question comes up a bit, with the sold, deleting sold works, if you've sold it through Bluethumb and you want to delete it off the site, it's not something we recommend doing, because we've done it in the past and someone thought that they'd were frauded and had purchased something that wasn't authentic of the artist because the artist had deleted it from their profile. That's the first reason. Yeah.
So that is a very important reason, because when people collect art, and if, say, for example, 6 months down the line they try to show someone, oh, this is what I bought, and it's not available, it raises a lot of questions and doubts. So we strongly advise against that. The other thing is we sort of lock it once it's sold on Bluethumb, mostly because of sort of the factors or variables that were involved, like pricing. So if an artwork was sold for $1,000, 5 years down the line, if someone wants to increase that price to $3,000, we would not want to do that, because that's the price that someone had actually purchased it for. So that's how it was valued at that point in time. Anyway, so that's the thing. Just to recap for Josephine's question.
Oh yeah.
That all the artworks that you see on Just Sold page are sold on Bluethumb. And that's live. So as soon as something is sold, it goes straight to Just Sold page. And all the artworks, if all the artworks that are shown on your sold dashboard are a mixture, of artworks that are sold on Bluethumb and that you've marked sold. And Freddie has just messaged me saying, if you remove an artwork which was sold, what that does is it creates broken links. So if we've used any of your artworks on any of our blogs or Facebook posts or wherever we've used it, that causes a dead end for someone if they go back and click on it, and that affects quite heavily on how your profile is ranked on sort of like SEO factors. Anyway, so we highly recommend not deleting artworks. Not deleting them at all, or if they're sold.
Yeah. Oh, so my hobby horse again, landscape versus seascape. Why can't they be separated? They are almost as many in
each category.
As many. Okay. Anthony, it's coming. It is coming. We're very excited. Can't tell you when just yet, but very soon. This is something that the artists have wanted for a very long time, and we've listened. It's really just being developed right now and finishing touches. So it's coming. Yeah.
Rebecca is asking, so why is Bluethumb advertising that shipping is free included instead of shipping included? This would allow us to advertise our art locally without the shipping costs. Rebecca, that's something that we've discussed over time quite a lot, and internally as well. We do at times have different opinions, and some of the opinions align with what your opinion is at this point. But essentially what it comes down to is what I was talking before, is it's just eliminating a factor of negotiations because from the conversation of the sale, it just reduces another venue where people can say, reduce this price, or it's an added price. Whenever there are two different segments of pricing to the same product, a lot of different questions and factors and all those things can come up, and it's just a matter of eliminating those things to streamline the whole process. That's the only thing. And it's a really big confidence booster in sort of it's sort of like a good news for people, for everyone, even if they're in Perth and the artist isn't Tassie or something. Like, it's, free shipping is a very lucrative way to sort of to impress them in a way. Anyway, I hope that's answered your question. If not, do let me know.
Yeah.
And
so click on that link, because that's that will take you to our blog post on how we got a Houses Award, Best of Houses Award for customer service.
I think thank you to a lot of you who actually reviewed us on House, because that's really important. Without that, we wouldn't have gotten that. Kathy saying, I've noticed older works in my portfolio never come up with a tag word. Should older works be deleted and then reposted?
This is something we covered in a webinar a few months ago.
I'll address this. So older works never come up with tag words. I'm assuming what you mean is if you have an artwork that you uploaded in, say, 2016, and it was tagged as seascape or tagged as rose, or something of that sort, and if someone searches seascape now or rose or blue or whatever the tag word was, your artwork's not coming up. Now, that mostly would happen because the searches are chronological. So whatever that keyword was, all the artworks that have since been uploaded on Bluethumb, which are available with that tag, will show up before that one. So that might be one issue. But if it is not, like if you've gone through all the pages and it hasn't been there, then I can definitely have a look at it later on. The other thing is about deleting and reposting artworks. It has been discussed before, and there are quite a few pros and cons to it. We don't want you to do it because what I said about broken links and it affecting a lot of things when it comes to SEO and marketing and all those things. So when you delete a particular artwork, what that means is wherever we've used that, it sort of has now a blank or sort of like a dead end. So if anyone wants to go through it, they click on that link and they go to a page which says, I'm sorry, this thing is removed or something like that. So it can give a lot of different impressions. This artist is not here, the artwork's not there, the artwork is sold, it's not available, and it might cause a sale to not go through. So we essentially don't want you to do it in plain and simple words. But if you do it, it's your call, but it does affect in a lot of different situations.
Might help, Kathy, maybe to just go and edit and add more tags to the description. Just give it a go, see if that helps at all. It means you will come up in more searches of that name.
Yeah.
But again, chronologically. So give that a go, that might help.
Another thing, while we're waiting for questions, another thing I wanted to address is with the new profile that was released last week, we will share a feedback form with you guys because it was meant to happen last week itself, but it didn't happen. Which pretty much is just a way so that you can put in your questions and thoughts and review, how you like it, how you don't like it, what needs to change, kind of thing, and just your point of view from it. So I think that would be really good for us to have, and we'll try and share that this week at some point in time. The other thing I wanted to quickly touch on dashboard as well. That the new dashboard is ready, as we've told you before. It's in the testing environment now. And we have made it visible to a select few people to test it out, see what's working, like if there's anything that isn't working and stuff like that. Once it's through that stage, we'll make it live for you guys quite soon as well. I'll let you answer that question.
So Deborah asked, when is the Bluethumb art competition this year? We are having a meeting, I think in a couple of weeks' time. I'm going to leave it at that because I'm going to leave it at that.
There have been some really deep conversations on art prize and the value that it adds to the artists or their artworks. So we want to do it for the right reasons and not just because everyone does it. Anyway, so there have been a lot of different conversations and different point of views, and we will come to a decision quite soon.
And we'll let you know as soon as that has been made.
Philip's asking, are there many overseas buyers buying from Bluethumb? Philip, yes. Quite a few international buyers do buy from us. It's quite new to a lot of artists, and we have started marketing internationally now, but we haven't started marketing to our artists quite a lot right now, because we are still building a few things and making sure things work. Because when it comes to international shipping, we do take care of a lot more things than a few things that other platforms do. So we just test riding a lot of different couriers and services, because a lot of them come with size restrictions for bigger artworks and insurances and all those import duties and tax and all that kind of stuff. But we do ship out internationally quite regularly, and by quite regularly I mean at least. We did put a figure on it last webinar. We did. We did. Oh, good. Okay, I don't remember that figure, but it's difficult to say overall, but it depends here and there. But on an average, about 10 to 15%. We said, that's what we said. Yeah, on average, about 10 to 15% of our overall sales or orders are overseas.
And that's growing.
And most of them, surprisingly, are high valued artworks. So they're not like prints or smaller pieces. They are usually quite high value artworks that go out, which is a good thing. Cool. Awesome. That's all the information that we have. I'm hoping that there will be more questions. If anyone's got even just quick little feedback about the new profile layout, what you think about it, if you have any questions about it, are you glad the banner's gone? Don't know. Would be interested to know what you have to say. We'll send you a link shortly, which will pretty much be like a Google form of sort of like survey form of sorts. So you can just enter your questions and your feedback in there. It'll be very easy for us to consolidate the whole thing and just go through all the feedback in one go. Dawn just said, I need to listen to the replay, but wonder about pricing. What about small works, medium, just under a bit more, and larger works? Okay. I think I'm gonna start off saying our minimum artwork price is $100, and that includes shipping. So I think it works out if you put something around 60, 70, that minimum of $70 for the 30 post. I'm gonna let you take over. You need to listen to replay, but wonder about pricing. Small works. What about small works, medium, and large works? Don, when it comes to pricing your artworks, essentially what we suggest, it's completely your call, but what we suggest is just consider all the factors that have gone into making that one. And also keep it consistent as well. So, you know, if you do have other pieces for 1 meter by 1 meter for a certain amount, and you are painting a piece which is smaller, say 20 by 20 centimeters, try to keep the prices sort of proportional of sorts. So, you know, it shouldn't be too much of a difference, or a surprise rather. But it completely comes down to you as an artist, to how you like your artwork to be valued. I think we missed a couple of questions here.
Oh, okay.
Lee asked, are overseas buyers looking for a particular type of painting, for example, something that is distinctly Aussie? I don't think so. Also, it's quite difficult to
pinpoint.
Summarize all of them as, you know, in one group. They just like Aussie buyers, you know. So different people relate with different things. Different things come or sort of speak to them, or, you know, they see it as something that they can have for the rest of their life, and they go with that decision. So it's not one particular theme that goes with it.
Caroline, do we need to make you aware of recognition or award or special selection?
Yes,
I think that's
definitely.
Down.
And that's why we have the award section now separately. So you can enter each one of these into your profile, and it will help us identify it quite a lot. When you've put it in, feel free to drop a note on the chat or an email to us as a reminder, just so we don't miss it.
Just touching on the new profile, a lot of comments that came in were, you know, how do I do my exhibitions? I've got 60 plus exhibitions or no exhibitions. What I would suggest, if you've got a lot, do a select work. So if it's, you know, ones that you're pretty proud of or are prestigious, so like any solo exhibitions or something like Doug Morman, or, you know, just something that is quite well recognized. We're saying, like, it's up to you. We've left it infinite.
Yeah.
But I think 10 to 15 looks really nice on the profile. But again, up to you. If it's no current exhibitions, you can even mention ones coming. So, you know, if you've got one planned for this year or next, or a solo or anything like that, or, you know, if you've entered your work, include that in an award too. So, because that still comes under, like, I'd still have that on my artist CV. So you should also have it on your Bluethumb CV. And the other thing I wanted to say, because it was also a discussion on the Facebook group, that it would take you too long to enter in all the information. I just want to say, take all the time you need. The reason why we've formatted it like that is to make it look more clean and clear, because every artist had a different way of entering their exhibitions before. So that's why we've done it, to streamline it. So everyone, it just looks a lot nicer. And, you know, have a cuppa one day, one Sunday afternoon, just take the time to do it, because that's, you know, we spent time making that feature, and we'd love for you to fill it out and, you know, fill it out properly. So that's what I say about that.
Caroline is asking, can we have an area for other artist engagements? I'm not entirely sure what that means.
I think she means like publishing and stuff, because that's come up too. This, I think we'll wait till the feedback, but definitely put that in the feedback, Caroline. For the moment, if you've been in a publication, or if there's something particular that you're proud of, you can put it like a couple spaces down in your bio. But yeah, again, up to you. This is like the baby steps, figuring out how we need to change it. And because we're launching that new feature of the dashboard, it's not going to happen straight away. So when we send out the review, please fill it out and give us that suggestion again.
Yeah. Cool. Anna's asking, also the first thing that catches your eye is the unfollow button when you are following an artist. Not sure that's a good thing. That is a very good point. It was raised a little while ago, and it's already in consideration. It's with Melissa. I think she had commented on that on the Facebook group as well, and that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a design flaw, as we like to call it. Don's asking, is it too late to organize pricing from now? No, Don, you can organize your pricing from here on. That's absolutely fine. If you need any help, or reorganize, that's still fine. If you need any help or any assistance, just let us know in the chat or an email, and we'll try to assist you where possible.
Yeah, Caroline, just when the review goes out, definitely mention it in there. It's going to get lost in this channel, I can just tell.
Yeah, we'll send you a feedback form sort of a thing, so you can put these ideas in there. I think that would be a good spot for it, as Sarah said. Caroline is saying, I thought we would be able to see favorite artworks in detail. You will once the new dashboard comes in.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more detail in there when you see the new one. I really wanted to share some screenshots with you, but I've been advised against it. Cool. I'm just checking if you've missed something. A lot of you like the new profile, which is great news.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's good.
It's 2 o'clock.
Melissa will be quite happy, and it is 2 o'clock. Jillian, about the price drop thing, I explained a little bit on what has happened. So if you go back later on when you have time, you'll be able to see. Philip had raised that, so that's a really good point. And thank you for your screenshots as well. That helped us make our point to the
Googly.
Cool.
Cool. So it's 2 o'clock. I don't think there's any more questions.
We'll wait for a couple more minutes. If there are more questions, it's good to answer them right here, right now. But if not, then we'll obviously be available. Hi, Haley. Sorry, I didn't see your message there.
I didn't see it either.
Cool. I think that's the end of questions. Thanks, Philip. Philip says the new profile seems effective.
Awesome. An hour late. Some Perth. You're in Perth time. That's why.
That's 3 hours difference, though.
Yeah, but
that's okay, Haley. No problem. At least you got the tail end of it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. We'll sign off now. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks, or not the week after, with the next webinar. Jillian, thank you. That was a pretty annoying ad template from Google, but it shouldn't be there. Freddie and our marketing team did really well to stand against it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We'll sign off now.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, and look out for the feedback form so you can send through your ideas and your feedback on the new profile. All right.
See ya.
See ya.